All right, let's talk to our guy, John Keim, covers the Commanders for ESPN.com. Hey, John.
Hey, guys, how are you?
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you have to vote, the biggest reason the Commanders' offense has struggled the last 2 weeks, playing better defenses, Jayden isn't healthy, or a Cliff Kingsbury swoon, what would you vote on?
Well, I mean, the first one is they are playing better defenses. That's how it is. And it's not to dismiss anything else, but even last week, I would say, like, last night to me was much different than last week, because last week there were a couple plays where, like, it's there. You just missed it. You dropped the ball. So, like, I felt like they kind of hurt themselves. I mean, first of all, Pittsburgh did a great job taking away his legs. Like, that was as good a job as anybody has done, just with the rush and et cetera, and kept him in the pocket. So that was one thing. They took that away, but there were, again, 4 drops, and then there were a couple missed throws that would have led to points, or point chances, right?
Right, there were more
yards.
opportunities, like the McCaffrey play, and you mean the De'Ami Brown touchdown.
Zacchaeus, well, you got De'Ami Brown, no, because they scored on that anyway.
Okay.
But the Zacchaeus, McCaffrey, the quarterback draw, where there was if you hold your block, he's in field goal. They're in field goal range at the worst on the last drive. So there were multiple plays where you say, okay, even despite playing good defense, despite all that, last night there was nothing. And I think the Eagles' defense is really good. They have a really good secondary. The receivers had 4 catches for 28 yards. Like, that to me is, and I haven't, he's not like coach, but like, you got to watch. I have to go back and watch it. What were they doing? And was that a matter of, are they speeding Jayden up a little bit where he's more inaccurate now in some cases? I think that's probably true. Is the injury affecting him more now? I don't know that that's the case, because I don't know. And I know, like, they say it's getting better, et cetera. So I don't know, but you have to wonder, because it hasn't been the same. Or, also, was last night a game where they're going against a really good secondary, where maybe you start to, maybe there's some things where, I mean, you look at the Eagles' talent with Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, like, they don't, do you have that kind of combo to combat that? Like, obviously Terry's very good, but I don't even want to say that, because, like, these guys, the receivers have been productive, but they didn't get anything. And why, was the line holding up as well? You know what I mean? So I think there's just a combo of factors. And I know, like, the Kingsbury stuff is interesting. I know it's hard to go there when, again, last week I felt like it was more about missed opportunities than it was just being shut down overall. But you know what I mean? It was a factor. It was a factor in Arizona, or at least, it was certainly a storyline. And there were a couple times where it happened, and then one time, like, Connor Murray's out and James Conner's out, but the numbers were what they were. So I just think it's a little early to say that. I think seeing how it goes, and maybe it's just, it could just be as simple as, it's a good offense, but maybe not yet quite ready to challenge really good defenses.
Right. And honestly, I don't want to give Jayden, like, too much, like, oh, he's hurt, because I've seen him rip these throws.
Right.
And then, like, you saw, John, like, you were there when J.P. Finley put out that video of him running around, throwing, laughing, and joking. Like, he didn't look that hurt. But by the same token, they are wrapping him after every series. So something is going on. I don't know how much it's limiting him. I really have no idea. But something is going on still, because why would they be doing that, John?
Well, yeah, there's a protective nature with it too. But I don't know that, when you watch him, I don't think. I think at times, again, I think these pass rushes have sped him up a little bit, and I think that leads to maybe more things, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah, and so I think, like, that definitely has been the case a couple times, where you're being chased, and he's not able to get outside the pocket at all. And
he's also not stepping into throws. Like, he's throwing off balance. He's trying to use some of these. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're definitely, it's all of that. And, I think the other thing is, like, just tells you how high the standards have been raised or expectations have been raised.
Totally.
That, this is still his first go-round here.
Right.
And so that's the hard part is you don't know. If he had started the season like this, you would say, okay, he's a rookie. It's just that's happened. You got to get used to this. But when you start the way he did, the way he and they did, and had a stretch of games where they were really, really good, then you start to wonder, well, why isn't it the same, obviously? And so, but I do think the pass rushes have had something to do with that, too.
John, real quick, EB, because just to shift off of Jayden, we only have so much time. The running game the last 2 weeks. Now, Jayden's part of that, but the running game against the Steelers, you run for, I think it was 60 yards on 22 carries.
Right.
Yesterday, 22 carries for 93 yards. I think that's also a big part of it. What have defenses done to shut down the run?
I would say, well, first of all, again, Steelers defense, these are two of the best run defenses. So, and they've played the three of the best, which is Baltimore and then these two. So again, are they equipped personnel-wise to always handle that? And I think last night too, it was at times efficient. It's just that it wasn't explosive. And when you convert as poorly as they did on third downs, you don't get more opportunities. I mean, look at last week with the Steelers, even yesterday, yesterday, like Barkley, they're doing a pretty good job on him. And then you just get worn down and boom, he hits a few, right? And it looks a lot different. And when you get opportunities and they just don't, there were a decent number of runs, but to me, it's like part of that is it was efficient, but not explosive, and they needed more carries, and that goes back to third down. But I think like Pittsburgh last week, that front was really good. And again, I don't know, like you had a Trent Scott in right tackle. I thought he did a good job in pass pro, but there were times where it's like, okay, so maybe some of that, the lack of reps with maybe the guy next to you sometimes could have hurt you. And then you had, a couple runs where, on the fourth down, it looks like, you have several linemen pulling to the right and Cosme going to the left. Like that's a mistake, right? And so there's a little bit of that, but that stuff happens in games. So like I said, I just wonder, not having Robinson in the last week, that's going to affect it. And then I think not getting more opportunities when it was okay and you could get more and maybe looks a little bit better, that hurts it. But, again, do you have the personnel to challenge those defenses at this point? That's also something I think I would wonder.